Welcome to Miami Beach, Florida, where thousands have gathered over Memorial Day weekend to honor our military in a national salute to America's heroes, presented by Hyundai. Now, the heroes who help keep us free and safe. We start with the Black Daggers, the U.S. Army's Special Operations Command Parachute Demonstration Team. These volunteers from the Army Special Ops community showcase varied military specialties in live aerial demonstrations like these. Watch as they jump from an altitude of 12,500 feet, free-falling for about 2 miles at around 120 miles per hour before opening their chutes. Members of this elite group use parachutes to infiltrate enemy lines without being detected. These highly skilled jumpers often must withstand high winds, frigid temperatures, and low oxygen levels. Sometimes they'll carry as much as 100 pounds of additional equipment with them. These brave men and women maneuver their bodies using their hands, arms, legs, and shoulders to control their flight. The result? A perfect pinpoint landing. It's an impressive show of skill for those watching on the ground, and a compelling display of professionalism and dedication for potential recruits.
Personally, for me, Memorial Day is a special day. It's not the opening of beach season. It's a time, it's a weekend where we have off and we have the chance to honor those that paved the way for us and all of our freedoms. And that's whether you served or whether you didn't serve. It's an important weekend to just sit back and reflect and remember and honor those that served. I think this show does a fantastic job of allowing us to do that and also interacting with everyone else to get them involved as well.
Next, a proud display of military precision and teamwork. The United States Army and Navy Parachute Team joins the Black Daggers for a demonstration that truly showcases the talents of these elite units. The Leapfrogs are Navy SEALs who make up the demonstration team of the U.S. Navy. Here, they join the Black Daggers and members of the Army's parachute team, the Golden Knights, in an inspiring display. These teams perform at a variety of shows throughout the year. The Army Golden Knights consist of demonstration and competition parachutists from all branches of the Army. To be a member, you must demonstrate excellence in parachuting. The Golden Knights perform high-altitude and low-altitude jumps. The Navy's Leapfrogs are trained to operate in all environments, sea, air, and land. Their primary mission is to support naval special warfare recruiting through these aerial parachuting demonstrations for a 3-year period. The goal of each team is to bring community awareness to the various aspects of joining the military and to meet and talk with people who may never have met a person in uniform. An impressive display indeed.
Memorial Day is a very special day to just stop and reflect on all the sacrifices that those that have fallen in combat or other operations for us and protecting our country. So I really enjoy bringing that back and having my family reflect on those special people in our lives.
Motocross. The crowd gets geared up for a performance of a different sort. The Monster Energy Keith Sayers Motocross Show is taking flight. This motocross champion and his team fly through the air, performing death-defying motocross tricks like these. There's certainly no lack of entertainment and energy here.
We can do a lot to make this happen as a city, but it doesn't happen unless there's a corporate partner in this, and Hyundai has really stepped up. They've been doing it now for a couple of years, and they're going to do it for more years, which is amazing. They love the event. They send a lot of their executives and a lot of their employees down for it, but most importantly, we feel like they extract such wonderful feeling for putting this event on, and we are so excited to have them.
You won't want to miss what's coming later. Another showstopper, the U.S. Air Force's F-35. It's a Memorial Day weekend for families taking time, showing their respect and patriotism, while enjoying the festivities surrounding the National Salute to America's Heroes, being held here on Miami Beach, Florida. Presented by Hyundai. Live free, drive smart.
For the men and women who serve all over the world and in our own backyards. And for those who wait for them to come home. This is our way of saying thank you. All military personnel and first responders will receive a $500 service bonus on any new Hyundai. Because every one of you protect our better way of life. And better drives us.
So many of my brothers and sisters have died. We've had family members that have died serving this country. And this one day, this one weekend is so much more important than just a day on the beach or barbecuing or having a day off from work. We really, really need to honor those that have gone before. But just as importantly, this event here helps us to also get to know and understand the sacrifices of our servicemen and their families today. You know, you're going to see some awesome weapon systems that are used to defend America and their allies around the world. But the greatest weapon system we have doesn't have a tail number on it. It doesn't have a serial number stamped on it. The greatest weapon system we have comes with a social security number. And that's what's important. And I hope that's what the great people get to see in this event, is to meet some of the young Americans that have signed that blank check.
Welcome back to the National Salute to America's Heroes, here on Miami Beach, Florida, presented by Hyundai. It's Memorial Day weekend, and families are taking time to show their respect and patriotism while enjoying the festivities. Time to head back to the skies with one of our Air Force heroes piloting the A-10 Thunderbolt II fighter jet. Here is the KC-135 Stratotanker, used for aerial refueling and transport. The KC-135 Stratotanker provides the core aerial refueling capability for the United States Air Force and has excelled in this role for more than 60 years. It also provides aerial refueling support to Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and allied nation aircraft. The A-10 is commonly referred to as Warthog or Hog. It provides quick action against helicopters, vehicles, and ground forces. Quite an inspiring sight for those on the ground watching these fighting machines fly past in alignment. The A-10 entered service in 1976 and is the only production-built Air Force aircraft designed solely for close air support. Its secondary mission is to direct other aircraft in attacks on ground targets. This fighter was designed around the 30mm GAU-8 Avenger rotary cannon. With 1,200 pounds of titanium armor protecting the cockpit and aircraft systems, the A-10 can absorb a significant amount of damage and continue flying. Its short takeoff and landing capabilities mean it can operate from airstrips close to the front lines. The A-10 distinguished itself in Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm, the American intervention against Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. It has also participated in the fight against ISIS in the Middle East and in conflicts in Grenada, the Balkans, and Afghanistan. In 2005, remaining A-10A aircraft began being upgraded to the A-10C configuration with modern avionics for use of precision weaponry. Viewing these impressive aircraft from close-up range is certainly a highlight of the day. Back on the ground, the Red Tail Rise Above traveling exhibit remembers one of our military's most inspirational stories, the Tuskegee Airmen. The CAF Red Tail Squadron's P-51C Mustang flight demonstration celebrates America's first group of black military pilots and support personnel. The plane's distinctive red tail helped give the squadron its name. Squadron members are in Miami Beach to educate the crowd about the Tuskegee Airmen. Their mission? To ensure none of us forgets the strength of character of these men and their ability to triumph over adversity, and to make sure we use that inspiration to rise above our own obstacles to achieve our goals. Duty, honor, country. Our fighting men and women in all military branches embody these three values. The U.S. Air Force Honor Guard drill team shows the Miami Beach crowd their precision, discipline, and commitment in this demonstration. Their mission is to showcase performances like this to help recruit, retain, and inspire airmen. It's an up-close look at the pride and dedication our fighting men and women take in putting it all on the line for us. Grateful onlookers make sure they know they're appreciated.
Now that's what I call a clean shave.
We're not done yet looking and listening skyward. Here comes the U.S. Air Force F-15 Eagle fighter jet, one of the most successful modern fighters with over 100 victories and no losses in aerial combat. The F-15 Eagle is a twin-engine, all-weather tactical fighter aircraft created to gain and maintain air supremacy in aerial combat. It's expected to be in service with the Air Force past 2025. All eyes point skyward as stunt kites appear, but also to the aqua blue waters, where the world's fastest powerboats from Marine Technology Incorporated rev up the crowd. MTI is the industry leader in manufacturing of high-performance racing and pleasure boats. Spectators witness the MTI Offshore Powerboat Racing Exhibition, with boats reaching speeds of more than 130 miles per hour. But they're not alone. They share the beautiful waters with top action sports athletes of all kinds, showing off their agility and acrobatics. Airborne antics with water jet propulsion, flips, spins, and turns thrill the crowd. Elite wakeboarding moves and jet ski skills also get the entire beach cheering. It's a sight to behold.
It's all about remembering those who serve. And, you know, I've met a lot of families that have lost somebody. You know, I've been deployed multiple times where some people don't come home. You know, we owe it to them, we owe it to the families to remember them. And, you know, that's how I view this weekend. And this is a perfect opportunity to celebrate their lives.
Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss what's coming later. The famous Navy Blue Angels, when the national salute to America's heroes presented by Hyundai returns.
No matter what you're looking for, with the Hyundai family of SUVs, everyone wins. The Hyundai Tucson is an IIHS top safety pick. The Santa Fe is Kelley Blue Book's lowest 5-year cost to own in its class. And the Kona is the 2019 North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. All three were designed to blow away the competition.
Hurry in before this offer disappears. Drive home today in the award-winning Tucson, Santa Fe, or Kona, and pay no interest for 60 months. Only at Hyundai.
This weekend is really special because it's a time for us to remember the past, memorialize those who have served before us, and in some cases given the ultimate sacrifice for our nation to preserve our peace and freedoms.
Welcome back to the National Salute to America's Heroes, presented by Hyundai. Circling the skies above, a seaplane from Tropic Ocean Airways, a veteran-owned and operated company. Its founder is Rob Suravolo, a former Top Gun pilot and instructor who still loves flying. This amphibious airlift solution airline, based in Fort Lauderdale, flies scheduled and charter trips throughout Florida and to the Bahamas, with operations to 5 countries. Yet another way to celebrate one of our military heroes.
Memorial Day is about honoring those that gave the ultimate price, and we should never forget them, because who we are as a nation, what we are as a nation, the freedoms that we enjoy, the prosperity that we enjoy, we wouldn't have had any of it had it not been for their sacrifice. It's a very important holiday.
Look up. There they are again. The Army's parachute team, the Golden Knights, with another amazing display that's sure to dazzle the crowd. This is what you call a high-altitude jump. In this demonstration, the team uses one of their 2 Fokker C-31A troopship jump aircraft. These competition parachutists come from all branches of the Army. You only get on this team by demonstrating excellence in parachuting. Here, parachutists with smoke canisters free fall from the sky, aligning together or crossing each other's path, leaving behind a trail of smoke, all to the delight of witnesses below. There are 2 12-member teams, the Gold Team and the Black Team, for the official colors of the Army. Each team travels approximately 240 days a year, and each member typically stays for at least 3 years. At the end of their tenure, soldiers either rotate back to Army line units, or they may request to stay with the team for an additional period in one of several specialty positions. These positions are usually reserved for tandem parachute instructors, videographers, team leaders, and competition parachutists. Each team has a leader who typically has the most time and experience performing demonstration jumps, and normally holds the rank of an Army Sergeant First Class. As always, X marks the spot. Yet another successful pinpoint landing. It's time for the U.S. Coast Guard to get into the act, demonstrating an air-sea rescue using the AC-144 Ocean Sentry, a twin-engine aircraft with surface radar and infrared cameras that can drop equipment and supplies. After the successful drop of a raft, the AC-144 stays nearby, while a powerful MA-65 Dolphin helicopter springs into action. Its 1,300 horsepower engine, lightweight design and retractable landing gear make it one of the fastest and most maneuverable helicopters around. The MH-65D has an aircrew of 2 pilots, 1 flight mechanic, and a rescue swimmer. Depending on the nature of distress, the rescue swimmer deploys via freefall or a hoist to provide assistance. These dedicated professionals assume the watch 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, standing true to the Coast Guard's motto, Semper Paratus, which means always ready. Once a survivor is located, the crewman puts on his gear, gets the hoist ready, and jumps into the water to assist the survivor. Another successful team-coordinated operation.
Memorial Day is our chance to remember those who've given the ultimate sacrifice. This is our chance to remember those who've gone before us and memorialize everything that they've given for this nation.
Making its way in just above the beach, the monstrous Boeing C-17 Globemaster III transport plane, the U.S. Air Force's primary strategic lift aircraft for global transport of troops and equipment. Additional roles include medical evacuation and airdrop duties. The C-17 can carry up to 102 troops, 54 ambulatory patients and attendants, and still have room for more. It can also carry 170,900 pounds of cargo. The flexibility and performance of this plane help increase the ability of the United States to move people and equipment worldwide. This plane is also reliable and easy to maintain. As big as it is, it still turns and maneuvers with such grace. The C-17 is in service in many other countries, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, India, and Kuwait. The final C-17 was completed in Long Beach, California in 2015.
It reminds me of why I serve. You know, it wasn't for when I initially came in to travel and get that education. I have made the decision to give up my life to defend this country. We can't take this lightly. This uniform means a lot, and I'm truly, every year, again, Memorial Day, it just means it gets more and more meaningful to me, and this is that one time a year that everyone should come together and remember that people gave up their life for their freedom.
You're watching a national salute to America's heroes, presented by Hyundai. You won't want to miss what's coming later. Get up close and personal with a stealth fighter. A look at the U.S. Air Force F-35.
For the men and women who serve all over the world and in our own backyards. And for those who wait for them to come home. This is our way of saying thank you. All military personnel and first responders will receive a $500 service bonus on any new Hyundai. Because every one of you protect our better way of life. And better drives us.
Hyundai Motor America has been an incredible partner of ours. You can't thank Hyundai enough for all that they do. They get it. Hyundai understands that freedom is not free. They're a corporation that truly wants to give back and say thank you to the men and women of our military and those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Welcome back to a national salute to America's heroes from Miami Beach, Florida. A Memorial Day celebration of the United States military, being held here on Miami Beach, Florida. Presented by Hyundai. Live free, drive smart. The crowd on Miami Beach is ready for action, and that's just what they get as U.S. Customs and Border Protection units begin their drug interdiction demonstration in the air and on the water. In this simulation, U.S. Customs Marine agents chase drug smuggling suspects on the ocean waters off the beach. Air and Marine Operations helicopter pilots assist from the air, demonstrating their unique flying abilities. This drill helps showcase the precision and accuracy of the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol to spectators. These air and marine units are part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and are ready for anything, protecting our borders from the air, land, and sea. It's not just drug smugglers they're chasing. These exceptional units also track illegal immigrants and protect us from acts of terrorism. These coastal interceptor vessels have an advanced hull design, safety equipment, and electronics that give agents the protection, mobility, and reliability they need. Crews work together with other federal, state, and local law enforcement agents to keep our homeland safe. The Steel Timberworks Lumberjack Show brings a unique diversion from the displays of military prowess. These athletes compete in a variety of traditional logging skill competitions that determine the best all-around lumberjack. Clearly, a lot of skill involved. Now, let's take a look at an American military classic that continues to serve after almost 65 years. The B-52 Stratofortress bomber, one of the most recognizable aircraft in the world and a Cold War icon. The B-52 was the Air Force's primary strategic long-range nuclear bomber, capable of flying at high speeds at altitudes up to 50,000 feet. This jet-powered plane can carry nuclear or precision-guided conventional weapons with worldwide precision navigation. It's also effective at ocean surveillance and for assisting the U.S. Navy in anti-ship and mine-laying operations. The B-52 can carry up to 70,000 pounds of weapons and has a typical combat range of more than 8,800 miles. Superior performance at high subsonic speeds and relatively low operating costs have kept the B-52 in service despite the advent of more advanced aircraft.
Memorial Day is a somber holiday, I think, for most people in the military, because we all know someone who has been lost, and then you think about the families and the far-reaching effects of their sacrifice. You know, Memorial Day is, there's a lot to consider on Memorial Day, but it's also a time to celebrate their life as well. You know, so I hope everyone kind of understands the sacrifice that so many thousands of people have put on the line for their country.
Here's a unique aircraft from the Marines, the Amphibious Assault Transport V-22 Osprey. This multi-engine, dual-piloted aircraft transports troops, equipment, and supplies from assault ships and land bases. The tilt-rotor aircraft is capable of vertical and short takeoffs and landings needed for combat, combat support, combat service support, and special operations missions worldwide. The Osprey transports Marine combat troops twice as fast and 5 times farther than previous helicopters. It combines the functions of a conventional helicopter with the long-range, high-speed cruise performance of a turboprop aircraft. The V-22 first flew in 1989 and began flight testing and design alterations. It went through many years of development due to problems that stemmed from being the first tilt rotor intended for military service. The U.S. Marine Corps began using the V-22 in 2007. The The Air Force would follow 2 years later. The Osprey has been deployed in transportation and medevac operations over Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and Kuwait. Smiling faces and beautiful weather here on Miami Beach as all enjoy this national salute to America's heroes. Brought to you by Hyundai. Coming up, time to get familiar with the Air Force's spectacular F-35 fighter jet.
No matter what you're looking for, with the Hyundai family of SUVs, everyone wins. The Hyundai Tucson is an IIHS top safety pick. The Santa Fe is Kelley Blue Book's lowest 5-year cost to own in its class. And the Kona is the 2019 North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. All three were designed to blow away the competition.
Hurry in before this offer disappears. Drive home today in the award-winning Tucson, Santa Fe, or Kona and pay no interest for 60 months. Only at Hyundai.
It's important for us to remember those who have paid that ultimate sacrifice. World War I, World War II, our Vietnam brothers, I have the deepest respect for those individuals that paid incredible sacrifices to allow us to live this lifestyle. It is important for us to never forget that. That's the importance of Memorial Day for me.
Welcome back to Miami Beach and this national salute to America's heroes, presented by Hyundai. Thousands have gathered to honor our nation's military over Memorial Day weekend. And while here, spectators and our military heroes are enjoying beach nightlife along picturesque Española Way. Culture, dining, shops, and fun greet the crowd. And music, in particular, the music of the U.S. Army's As You Were band.
You know, I have an amazing job, and I definitely don't take it for granted, and I know that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for, you know, the people who have made the American dream possible, and that's what it's about for me, just honoring those who have come before, remembering, don't forget about it, don't take what you have for granted, and be thankful.
Now, strap yourself in and brace for a different kind of sound. The sound of the most advanced fighter jet on Earth, the Air Force's F-35 Lightning. Cameras are out to capture some amazing visuals from high above Miami Beach. The F-35 Lightning is a family of single-seat, single-engine, all-weather stealth multi-role fighters undergoing final development and testing for the United States and partner nations. This fifth-generation combat aircraft is designed to perform ground attack and air defense missions. There are 3 versions of the F-35, one for conventional takeoffs and landings, one for short takeoffs and vertical landings, and another for carrier-based catapult-assisted takeoffs with arrested recovery. Born out of a demand to dominate the fluid 21st century battlefield, the F-35s are rewriting the rule book on aircraft design, capable of performing almost any role imaginable today, whether strike, support, or reconnaissance, with greater efficiency than any other aircraft made to date. These powerhouses feature a Pratt & Whitney F-135 afterburning turbofan jet engine that delivers a mighty 43,000 pounds of thrust. That thrust powers a sound-shattering top speed of over 1,200 miles per hour. That's over Mach 1.6. The cockpit is also state-of-the-art, delivering a full panel-width panoramic glass cockpit display, as well as a host of leading-edge avionics and sensors. Much of the cockpit has been optimized for speech recognition interaction, allowing the pilot to control many parts of the jet by voice alone. The F-35 took its first flight in 2006. 10 years later, the Air Force declared its first squadron of F-35A fighters combat ready. The United States plans to buy nearly 2,500 aircraft. 3 models of the F-35 are expected to provide most of the manned tactical air power of the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marines over the coming decades. The military is scheduled to take delivery of these powerful aircraft by 2037. They're expected to serve until the year 2070.
My father's been passed away for many years now, and so I never really understood how my father served in World War II until after his passing, actually talking to some family members who actually served with him on board the same ship. But more close to that is, I think a lot of times the essence of Memorial Day boils down to those local community remembrances, ceremonies that are done, and usually probably at the cemeteries, to recognize and remember those service members that have died. And really the purpose behind Memorial Day, I've had opportunities, regrettably, where I've, had to present flags to family members of fallen service members. So you gain a very intimate appreciation for the sacrifice that those men and women have given, to defend our freedom. And I also, I had to be a notification officer for a family. To this day, we're still actually very close friends. We stay in good contact. So for me, there's a very personal connection from that perspective.
Up next, a sight everyone looks forward to with anticipation, the precision and skill of the Navy's Blue Angels, when our national salute to America's heroes returns to Miami Beach, presented by Hyundai.
For the men and women who serve all over the world and in our own backyards, and for those who wait for them to come home, this is our way of saying thank you. All military personnel and first responders will receive a $500 service bonus on any new Hyundai. Because every one of you protect our better way of life. And better drives us.
We are really very honored, very happy to be the sponsors of the National Salute for the American's Hero for the 3rd year in a row, and many more to come. South Korean people are very happy, and they are very honored, and they are really very grateful for the support that they've received by the U.S. Army, the U.S. military, and we believe this is a very simple way to show high appreciation for people who are granting the freedom of this country.
The respect for our military men and women soars even higher as we continue our national salute to America's heroes Memorial Day weekend, being held here on Miami Beach, Florida. Brought to you by Hyundai. Live free, drive smart. While most eyes are trained on the skies above, there is plenty to see on the ground as well. At Display Village, spectators get an up-close look at military equipment and even test it out. They view various exhibits. They get in a little fitness, and they get to check out incredible flight and navigation simulators. The most important of these experiences? The chance to meet and speak with our military men and women, to learn what they do and how they keep us free, to really see the impressive nature of our soldiers. Back to the sky, and it's another colorful and impressive display from the Leapfrogs, the Navy's parachute team. Cheers fill the air as these highly trained jumpers perform demonstrations that delight the crowd below. These are Navy SEALs, trained to operate in all environments, air, land, and sea. Their demonstrations are a key and compelling component of the Navy's recruiting efforts. And now, the showstopper. What the crowd has been waiting for, the famed Blue Angels are about to take to the air. This U.S. Navy flight demonstration team has been thrilling large crowds since the 1940s. The Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Chester Nimitz, created this flight exhibition team back in 1946 to raise public interest in naval aviation and to boost Navy morale. Today, and since 1986, they fly Boeing FA-18 Hornet jets at their performances. These jets travel at speeds up to 700 miles per hour during an air show, but they can reach 1,400 miles per hour. As many as 11 jets comprise the Blue Angels squadron. 11 million people a year witness a Blue Angels show. During the 1950s, the Blue Angels introduced the first six-plane Delta formation. Only active-duty Navy or Marine Corps tactical jet pilots with a minimum of 1,250 flight hours can perform for the Blue Angels. Pilots stay with the demonstration team anywhere from 2 to 4 years. Each of these planes cost $21 million and weighs 24,500 pounds. Amazingly, these jets get as close as 18 inches to each other when in a diamond formation. Thank you for watching the Memorial Day Weekend National Salute to America's Heroes from Miami Beach, Florida, presented by Hyundai. And thank you to the incredible men and women of our United States Armed Forces who sacrifice so much to protect our country and the freedoms we enjoy. We thank you. We honor you. We remember you.